Click. Hello and welcome to DevCast Ops. Hopefully we're all audible and people can see us. Welcome, I'm James. To my left is Wale. And God, there's some fuzz. Oh, there's audio files. It's fine. I'll deal with it. This time on this week, what are we doing? We're doing boundary stuff.
Oh yeah. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. So I suppose this
You
is
know stuff anyways.
some of these things we do are we've never done before and we're messing around on stream to prove that it works. This is I have set this up over the weekend and have decided to show it off. To do this, I have formatted my Raspberry Pi and I've set up a new HCP project. So this is all from scratch. There's no setup. I hope it works. I'm going to see.
Yeah. Good luck.
I suppose to make it a little bit more, I suppose to explain more what we're doing, we are going to be, by the end of the session, we should be able to connect to, well, I will be able to connect to my home network from anywhere in the world without having to mess with my router, which we would like to do. So if I go that, the stream should now be able to see a lovely terminal. Though I was just thinking, what do you think the best way of doing this is? Should I set up boundary first, or should I set up HCP first, or should I set up the Pi first?
I think it makes sense to set up the Pi first.
Okay. So
Also, what do you mean by setting up the Pi anyways? What does that entail?
I need to install the binaries. I need to install the binary and start the agent running. And Grace, there is no Barnaby today. He is drunk on holiday somewhere.
Uh,
The talking of drink, I did nearly bring a
he did
beer
promise.
in
He
myself.
did. He did promise he'll be watching. So
Did he?
he
I
said
thought he
he
promised that his phone
might.
was going to be miles away from him.
He said he might.
All right.
So yeah.
So just before we went live, I suppose I can show this. I just edited my host file. So I have, instead of having to type in the IP every time,
Oh,
what's wrong with the stream?
what's wrong?
There's something wrong. What is wrong?
Is it the volume voice? It was
It was
looping.
looping.
Oh,
That's weird. Well, hopefully it's not doing that anymore. All right. Well, I'm going to keep going and hope that it doesn't loop anymore, and hope there's just the Grace's PC issue. So I edited before and live. I just edited the host file to have my Pi's IP given a nice name. Um,
oh.
okay.
You
So yeah,
can.
my Pi has a nice IP, so I no longer have to be like, what's my IP again? They've granted my Pi has a static IP inside my house, so it's always got the same IP. I'm just trying to be lazy, so I can SSH Ubuntu at Vault. Pi is called Vault because that's the main reason why I set it up. I don't actually think the Pi is going to have Vault in it. I just didn't want to spell boundary. Password. And I'm in. And I'm in. There we
Yep. Yep.
go. Oh, it's host name's Ubuntu. Maybe you could have just connected to Ubuntu. Oh, well, that's fine. Okay. Do I need to prove that it's blank, that it's empty? Probably
No.
not. I think
No.
people trust me. So how to install boundary? That is the question.
We need a boundary user.
Yes, that is user add boundary. Wait, sure. Ah, sudo cat dash. I just want to check to make sure which. Yes. So I did the bad. I said the bad one. It's good for system users. So if I go password, set up boundary, but it's not really like set much else up for it, which is fine. It doesn't need a home directory. So like there's no home directory. Groups. Did group add? Oh yeah, group exists. Cool. User comes with a group, so that's fine. That's all correct. Next thing we need to do is install the binary probably. -m. So this command tells me what architecture I'm on. Just wanted to double check because I have made that mistake before. So now I'm going to bring a new tab open. Let's find what the latest version
Can you not just do get or brew? Oh yeah, you would have to have brew stuff, doesn't it? Yeah.
I personally rather do it manually.
See.
You got a lot more control about like what your version is, how it works. So because I'm using HCP, we need the enterprise version of Boundary.
Wow.
And then I said it was ARM64. So if I copy link address, and then I go curl dash queso, lowercase o. I don't remember how curl outputs. Lowercase o. Boundary dot 13.zip. And then URL. I'm getting vibrations that I assume someone is logging into. I assume someone being Grace is logging into my Crunchyroll. Anyone could hear my phone vibrating. Okay.
No, we didn't hear that.
So now we have boundary zip file boundary downloaded. So now we need to. Do I have unzip installed? Oh, whatever. This stand is not a good idea. So let's go sudo apt update. Wait to have never set this up yet. Maybe I should have run this command first before we went live.
Yeah, because this is gonna be a bit time consuming.
I mean, I have decent internet, so this should not take that long.
But then again, you're installing on the Raspberry Pi, so
That is true.
yeah.
I mean, I probably didn't actually need to update the registry. The registry it comes with has unzip. No, it's just the correct thing to do.
Sure.
I just keep having issues where the Pi like corrupts itself or gets confused when I've done too much to it. So I hope we don't get that. I think maybe because it overheats. This Pi does get mighty warm when I'm running like 3 or 4 servers on it.
I don't have that issue, and I'm running a 0. So
What I found as a fun thing to do is I set up Nomad on it with an agent in a virtual machine on my PC. So the server was on the Pi, and then the kind of client's agents were on my desktop. That was fun.
sounds fun. I'll get there in a minute.
Yeah, I want to look more into Nomad for these streams as well at some point. Sweet, that's done. Apt install unzip. Sudo? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You know, fun fact: if you just type in sudo exclamation mark twice, that will repeat what you just your last command. So
Yeah.
So rather than you having to retype it would just do it for you.
The only problem with that, which I suppose for this command doesn't matter, is quite a lot of times I'll go up to find my last command.
No,
Like I
but
will,
that's the thing, you don't need to find it. You just type in because you wanted to add sudo before it,
no,
right?
sorry, for this use case it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
if I'm like editing a file with sudo,
Okay.
having the full command is nice. So if in the future, if in 4 commands I want to rerun the same command,
It
I
would
can just.
actually it will be in your it will be in your history as well.
Oh
You
really?
create
The
as full command, not as the shortcut that you actually did.
oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I use that a lot. So
Oh, I didn't realize this. Creme. Seen Creme a lot recently.
yeah, I had fun installing that on my M1. That was fun.
Well, so I think Nomad, the fact Nomad can run Creme containers is quite an interesting thing.
Mm.
Anyway, so that should be unzip installed. So it's all the right place. So I can go unzip H because I want D. So I'm going to go unzip zip dash D the local
So I didn't see what this D stands for again.
directory. So I'm going to
Uh,
unzip boundary. I'm going to put the boundary executable in my bin file. So you say sudo that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and it actually that puts the command. That's fun.
What is it waiting for right now? Oh, it's in playing. Yeah,
It's inflating it.
yeah,
Oh, you're right. It even shows like the full command. That's fun.
yeah.
Okay. So now if I go cd slash user slash local slash bin, there's boundary. So I now should be able to, if I go to root, I should be able to go boundary. Boundary
Hmm,
works.
dash, or is it not just dash B? It's dash version. Dash V should be fine. It's hashy. So
I don't know. Every like the amount of programs I use that changes how that works.
if that doesn't work, then we have to do dash capital V.
Because it should be dash letter for the shorthand or double dash word for the full word.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, that's fine. So we've got, yeah.
It's much faster on my laptop though. So it's your Raspberry Pi, man.
Yes, this is my Raspberry Pi 3 that is already very warm. It may also be the network, but it should be running as fast. Like the network shouldn't be slowing it down.
Don't worry. We have my system as a backup. Oh, well, I don't have Boundary Enterprise.
No,
Oh,
this is HCP. HCP runs on Enterprise.
yeah, but I mean the binary. I don't have that.
So boundaries not the binaries not hard to install. I am now going to cheat and look at my notes. Which is this one. So we now need to set up our config file. If we did the HCP, it would have told us the steps. That's no fun. So we're going to do it this way. I'm just going to check my notes and just triple check the directory. Of course, I just called it config path decision useful directory. Oh my
Isn't
god.
it similar to like all the
Yeah.
other stuff where
Yeah, it is exactly the same as the other ones. And so the directory should be.
yeah.
So the directory are they? Come on. It says same as the other ones. So what should it be?
Oh, shouldn't it just be boundary or because normally for vault it would be vault dash data
No.
or OPT.
No. So for the config,
Yeah.
it's an etc and then it's
Right.
service.d.
Uh,
Um, and it's the dot. I didn't realize until I was watching a YouTube video actually that the D is because we are creating a daemon. So and the daemon stuff ends in a D. So it's boundary.d because this is where we're loading us the kind of daemon service
Oh,
config.
I always assumed that was for directory, Interesting.
Anyone that's like, I'm going to call this directory is like, no, you can just do you can just do an ls. Oops. Oops. ls
Amazing.
-la
What are you doing?
grep. Hey, look, this tells you it's directory.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that's why they're still
Yeah.
doing that. Like, oh, so you don't have to do ls. You can just know that .d means.
Sudo su. So I'm now logging into the boundary user
Yeah, you go.
because the boundary user should have access to all these files. So instead of making the file and then chmodding it, I'm just going to make the file as the boundary user. And this, yes, I call it PKI worker.hcl. Okay. What we need is the cluster ID. So HCP boundary cluster ID.
Yeah, I would have preferred you
Equals.
copy that instead rather than typing it out.
Oh my God. This is from HCP. So what I'm going to now do is log into HCP and we can set that up. Yeah, just might as well. So next thing we should do, I'm just going to not trying to have too many tabs to stop, is boundary. So under portal.cloud.hashicorp.com, you can get to oops, sorry, thing the once. So when you log in, you'll be presented with this screen with all their 6 services that support boundary. There's 2 they're missing. No, there's 3 they're missing because they now have a fault sequence. Yeah, anyway, boundary. That's what we're here for. So we're going to click deploy boundary. Instance name, that is fine. I really want to mess with the session recording at some point, but not today.
Mm.
Username will be admin. Password will be a super secure password. I will not tell.
Wait, we're gonna delete this after, right? So you can share.
Can I? I don't want to see what sort of bill someone could rack up in the 50 minutes of this thing. Okay, so this is creating, but we have this all-important boundary ID. And that is boundary setup. In an amount of time, this will be active. This will say active, and that's boundary done. It is super fast to set up stuff online. Okay, code, paste. Okay, after cluster ID, we have the listener. I have no reason to change any of the stuff. This is what the proxy is listening on. I don't know if this is needed because we're never technically sending a message to the proxy, but it is part of the config. And then the last config we need is the worker config. So a couple things this needs: public address. I don't know if this does have to be the public address of your computer. Suppose we can test this now. If I go 192.168.1.12, so that is my Pi's private address. I don't know if that actually needs to be the public address. Then some storage directory, that's fine. It's just under where we are. Tags is important because you need to be able to specify that this server, sorry, this worker is your ingress point, and then we close it.
You need to see that.
Yep, do not have write access. Exit. Sudo.
Oh yeah, you did create that as a sudo user, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got to be sudo to be able to get into to be able to make files in Etsy. You need to be sudo. So I'm going to chown boundary dot. Now the boundary should have access to this level. Now if I go boundary dash, now I go vim ki worker dot HCL. I paste. Yay, it worked. So all I did is this boundary file needs to be owned by the boundary user. Oh, I just
I'm
right clicked.
checking the documentation, right? And as part of it, they also put purpose. You know,
There's a
if,
tag.
huh?
Where did they put the purpose?
In the listener TCP, can you open that thing again, please?
Purpose
Yeah. Oh,
proxy.
yeah, you have it as proxy, but they just put like API or whatever in there. Also, the the port is 9200. Yours is 92.
So my if you give me 1 second. So the cluster is now up, and where I got most of this config for, I think, is in the cluster configs. Though we can find out.
Okay.
Within here, I'm going to not worry about setting up a org. Maybe I should have, but that's fine. We have a nice worker tab. They give you 2 workers by default, which
Nice.
have some very nice IP addresses. And they're 9202.
Oh, I see.
Is 9200 is for the server.
What?
Is that for the, because there's servers and there's workers. I think the workers are 9202. I don't know. But yeah, this is the, if you go onto their create worker, you just say where your cluster is, public address, the config directory, keys, and it will just give you the config file. This file that I worked so hard to make, it'll just give you it.
Yeah, and in regards to public address that you asked in, based on what they're saying, it is specifies the public host or IP address. So you put in the private, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if this is going to work.
All right, let's find out.
Obviously, so the way they suggest you run it is just running it not in the background, so you're not running it as a service.
Yeah.
I like running things as a service because then it's just like away, and if I kill this connection, the server will stop.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really work. So, but if this was in a Docker container, then it's fine because it just has the one process. So I'm going to leave boundary. I'm going to go into, can I remember this directory?
You mean the service file?
Yeah, it's what, like systemd or something.
Systemd.
No. Oh, where is it? Maybe system? Yes. I assume I'd rather be in users, not system. Where have I would say suggested, where have I stolen that I should put it in?
Did they not
Okay.
suggest the service file as well?
I don't actually know where, so I've stolen this from my Vault service
Yeah.
and made it a lot smaller. which makes it less secure. I was having some weird issues. So at some day I need to make this a little bit better, but I also need to understand how service files work, which is a job for another day. So I'm going to sudo vim a little like box in the bottom of my screen. Actually, what I will do is I'm going to clear first. Sudo vim boundary.service. Don't think there's any variables in this. Is that easy to read? The red's a bit weird.
It's all right.
I'm not even going to pretend like I understand what this is. This is making sure this file isn't empty, though normally when I run it, this line fails. And then these are the user groups, which we set up earlier. And then this is where we install boundary. And this is the boundary stock mod. And you need to you need to unlock memlock, otherwise it fails. And that what I need to do. Now I need to do. Oh, that's not just going to work.
Sudo system.
System. Worked.
Hold on. Sometimes it works, and then now do it again. Okay, still active. I just have this thing with Vault where I do that, and I think it's working. It's active. I go back to it a few seconds later. It's dead.
So a fun command is if you go oh wait, sudo journal ctl -f-u and the service. This will now follow. So every time the service outputs something, I'll get
Yeah.
another line. So I can just like sit and monitor this.
Actually, I want that whole command because normally when I go on it, obviously I don't have the I didn't know I can actually be tracking it live. So which part of it makes it live actually? Can you go back?
F. So
The
it's
okay.
journal ctl -follow, and then the unit is boundary.
Yeah, it's the -f. Okay.
And there's also ways of getting like time periods and all that sort of stuff, but that's fine. So we have a worker, but as you can see, I will actually rerun this command. Node is not authorized. So we've got a node, but it needs to be authorized. And as you may be able to see here, we have a registration request. So I don't know if I can remember where this file is made. I think it's going to be an etc boundary d worker one. Well, that's good. Permissions denied. So if I go su boundary
Wait, so we have to add our controller generated activation token to the
Yep.
Okay.
So in this file has the token.
Oh.
I am not outputting this token on the stream. So give me 1 second.
Yeah.
There's outputs token. You just copy and paste the token.
Actually, apparently, hold on. You can put the token into an environment variable, and then you can grab it in your config file using quote env semicolon.
So this token needs to go into HCP.
Oh, into HCP itself.
So yeah, so in this little box here, I need to put the token.
All right, cool.
So I don't think it actually matters if this token is like known, but you can see a little bit of it. So this token, it says registered. If I clear the screen,
We can't see.
I know.
We can't.
This is where I dislike a little bit with the fact I'm doing things live. I am doing things on the cloud, because if you do things wrong, people can see it. But look, we have more information. Wait, no, that's because that's when Boundary started.
So,
Worker has successfully authenticated.
yay.
Okay, so I'm just going to click done here. So we now have a proxy. It's not that useful by itself. So next thing we need to do is create the structure within Boundary to let us create a target. Can I zoom in a little bit? So I should have, when you first start, it's like, do you want to create the structure? I should have created it. So org, DCO. So we have an organization, and then within an organization, we need a project. An organization can have more organizations, I think, but project, this is going to be called home. Now we've done a project, we now have a target option, but before we create a target, I'm going to create a credential store. This is going to be Pi. So I can just directly link to the vault, and I can just give it address, all the vault information, and it'll just grab from vault. Don't have vault set up yet, so it's just going to be a static cred. And then within the store, I go to credentials, new credential, a name, which is going to be, I suppose the store should have been overarching and the cred should be separate. So if I had a public, if I knew a public key or could be bothered enough to create a public key, I can put it here. I'm just going to use username password. 1, 2, that's private, so I can do button correctly. There's now a cred stored for the using it to apply. Now if I go on targets, and I create a target. Now this is now what you actually connect to. Let's try again. Sorry, I should be doing noise names. I love the fact that you generic TCP. The ability to proxy a website is quite fun. Anyway, SSH. So this is my Pi's local address. 68.112, which could technically be localhost because the agent is on the same box. I'm not going to do that. So default port is 22, durations, connections, stuff. This is now where we set up the connection between the client and the host. So this currently wants to use an HCP worker. So it'll go client, HCP worker, host. Nice and easy. We want to set up a egress worker. So ingress just means that you can say which one there you want. But we can't directly connect to the ingress worker. We need an egress worker where you see it puts in the nice purple box. And then I need the filter, which I put here. So the filter is home in, so it's the tag name in, oh, it needs quotes as well. But it is home in tags slash, oh no, wait, location. Home in tag slash location. I'm just going to copy and paste that last bit just to triple check. Oh, now I click save. So that should be boundary set up. I should now be able to run a few boundary commands. Oh, wait, no. I need to attach the creds. So I can just click the creds, add. Oh, no. I did this last time. These aren't brokered creds. These are application injection creds. I really need to look up a little bit more of boundary to see the difference between them. Last time I looked at boundary, these weren't different things. So that should be boundary setup. Should we see if I can remember the commands to log in? So if I exit, so I'm back on my PC. So connection default closed. So now we see if I actually have boundaries stored. Boundary. I do. Export boundary header equals. This is the cluster name, which is this one. Now I need to go boundary authenticate. And my negative name is admin. Super secure password. This normally outputs a token, so I'm just going to hide my screen, my terminal for a sec while I see if this works. It did indeed output a token. So I'm just going to go export boundary token equals. Now, have to be careful not to click the up button in case people find my super secure token. So now I can do boundary connect SSH. I think it's target ID. Target ID equals, and now there is a lot of commands in boundary to help you find the target ID. I'm just going to copy and paste. Oh, it outputs the password. That's not an answer to do. That's not the correct thing. Did it lock me in? Oh no, it didn't. Oh, because I closed the connection.
I can see a password.
So this is why you would use something like a key or one-time password or something more secure. But luckily, even if you know my password, I'm inside my own firewall. So that's fine. But as you can see, I'm now in Ubuntu. If I go systemctl systemctl status boundary, yeah, I have the boundary work well. So that is how you connect from HCP into your internal network. Do you want to have a go at? I can create your user Wale, and you can have a go at trying to connect.
Yeah, why not? Let's find out.
So, each step I need to do for you is to create you a user. So, groups, roles. Okay, so there's groups and roles which aren't useful. I think users just be at a high level. Yeah, users. Look at all these users we've got. Wow. User, Wale, and then I add an account. Oh, okay. So there's users and accounts. Okay, so I made you a user. Oh wait, auth. Wow, that's not the most. So to make a user, I first have to go into auth methods, click the auth methods, and then create an account, and this will give you a way of logging into your password.
Can all of this be done through Terraform, right?
This can all be done through Terraform.
Okay. No. Please.
Password.
Not that suggested one. That is.
Okay. And then I go users, add you to there. And then I think I can go into roles, global admin, principals, add a principal, you add principal. There we go. That is long ass winded. So I should probably show your screen. Are you still showing your screen?
Yeah, I am.
So if I do that and that, we should now see a different terminal. Why are we not seeing that different terminal? I don't know if it likes. You able to just
Let me try again. Let me show
yeah?
you.
Do you want to just stop sharing and show again? It seems to not. But it's also did like a different color. So I don't know if it's just because. Oh, there we go. I don't know what you did, but it fixed it.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so we now can see your terminal. So
Yeah.
I just need to send you some URL.
Yep.
That is the boundary URL, and I've sent you your password. Super secure. Um, Again,
Yeah.
we'll be tearing it down to the end, so it's fine.
We don't have to go, right?
Do you want to always be able to access my Pi?
Why not? We put to work.
I think you're just showing your terminal, aren't you?
Hey, I'm just picking
Yeah.
stuff.
It's at like a jaunty angle because you can see where you've like swiped across and it's got half of the Mac animation started.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, oh, I need to export the address first, doesn't it?
Yeah, his export boundary added
Does it require a quotes? Actually, should be all right.
no, it doesn't need quotes. I
All right.
think you should do quotes, but it doesn't need quotes.
All right. So,
And then it's boundary authenticate. And if you're lucky, it won't export. It won't show you your token.
open. It
Um,
does. Well,
I mean, it's fine. I'll tear this down and when we're done.
things first.
Or I can
What?
just get rid of your user.
Oh snap! I made a mistake.
Well, yeah.
I put in my password instead of my.
Oh, it's weird the username's hidden. It's very like
Yeah.
secure.
Oh, well, there you go. User
Didn't even
ID.
get yeah. I think within WSL my keyring's a little bit weird. So now I suppose I should show you the other command.
I need to. Don't I have to export my token?
Nope.
Actually, it hasn't given me a token.
Yeah, it's saved it in the correct place. If I just exit here and so this. Oop,
I can see it actually. Boundary connect. Oh, but I'll need the.
I've sent you the full command, including the target ID.
Oh, oh,
So you can, with the commands, obviously list everything, get the target IDs. I think there's also a way of doing it through name. Permission denied. Wow, why don't you have enough permission to do this? I thought I added you to. Oh wait. Global admin list principles. You should be in global admin listing. Orgs. You orgs. Oh, okay. At some point we should maybe do another talk about what this all means and how that stuff. You should now have access.
yay! What? Your password?
It's weird that it outputs the password. Like of all the things, it's weird out. There must be a way of hiding that. But there you go. You're now inside my network.
Yay! That's actually good. And I don't need to know your IP address.
Yeah. So at no point did I need to specify my public IP address. So in my home set, in the setup I did before, in the Ansible code I've written for this, I have a service that like pulls the there's a service that gets your IP address. So I'm like pulling that service to get my public IP address, which is so long-winded and a little bit hit and miss, as it should be for a free service. Like I have nothing wrong with how it rate limits and all that sort of stuff. But the fact I don't need to specify my IP and I can just be like, cool, it's my local address. That's good.
Yeah.
God, the pie's 56 degrees. Um,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah. So I'm there. You
that's
see,
fun.
that's good. That's really good. I was just checking why. Is there a way that you could probably? I think there's a file that you can amend for when people log in, where so you can change the behavior. So maybe that, but this might be a boundary behavior actually.
That's
No,
yeah, that's boundary.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably part of the like boundary connect, but also I should be using Vault SSH OTP. So um, it gets you a secret one-time password every time you log in.
Um,
You're just seeing my bash history. Shift G, I think, is to go to the bottom, if you're
yeah.
curious.
I just actually did the bar, but it keeps increasing. Okay, now it's good.
Yeah.
The only
It
problem
outputs a lot of
with
logs.
my log stuff is that see I can't see the whole thing.
Click right on the arrow.
I see.
You can just
Yeah,
it's
I want it wrapped instead. I don't want it to.
um,
I like it. I like it to be wrapped. But that is this gonna be annoying?
uh -XN maybe.
You mean no, gosh.
Journal CTL -XN.
I think I could just do this as well, right? Like so. Actually, maybe.
It has to be before the year or after the service.
Um,
Damn you, Google.
uh, no.
Oh, they then said like pipe into less,
Oh,
which seems like cheating.
seems like what?
Using less seems like cheating.
Yeah. Oh no, let's try. Let's try. This thing is actually hindering my view. Okay.
Oh yeah, that yeah. So clearing is good.
Alright. So, let's. Oh,
So
this makes sense though. Yeah.
it's just the normal less output, which is fine.
Yeah, which is better because then at least now I can see. So whenever I see this issue now, at least I know I should just pipe into less and I'm like, yeah, good. Let me see the status. Hold on. Because normally when you do boundary status here, right? See how you can, it does the same behavior here as
Yeah.
well. So let's see if dash less. Oh, yeah, solve the problem. Oh, yeah, yeah, problem solved. I like it.
Where there's a
Awesome.
will, there's a way.
Hey man, Andre ACP. So now talk about the cost.
The cost, sure. If I steal the screen share back, if I can remember that one, control room. Someone stop your screen. Oops, stop my screen. People should now see my screen. Yep. So, one of the fun things about HCP boundary is, yes, there's a cost. I mean, it's $50 a session. So if you're doing this once, twice a month. That's certainly not blowing the bank. What I really liked about it is first 50 sessions per month for free. So that's once a day, every month, and you can log in for free,
So
which
now,
is like,
how many sessions today?
we've done 2.
So you haven't done any login sessions today, then?
No, I've been at work, but also I'm at home. I can just like type SSH pi.
Yeah.
um, but this is so the benefit of this is I can have my like, so as much as we messed around with SSH, and SSH is fun. You can do generic TCP sessions, and I could do like 102.168.68.112 hyphen, and that would give me access to my Vault cluster. So I can create a session to proxy into my local network to then have access to things like Vault. So if I want to be spinning up something locally, which 90% of the time I don't need to have access to the internet, but I don't know, once a month, or sorry, once a day, maybe I need to be like, oh, actually, I just need to check something. Actually, that's not it. Default port is there. Be like that. Or like, oh, I need to, I don't know, say you're running Nomad and you're the server, the you've got some jobs running that those you've put the hole through your network. Say you've got a website on port 80, the website goes down, so you need to debug it while you're out. Instead of having the port 4646, which I think is the Nomad's server, always publicly accessible, you can just go via boundary, do your change and fix it, and then keep like carry on with your life. So you don't need, and it'll be free because it's, unless you're using like twice a day, which if you're sensible is unlikely on average, it's probably free.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this will terminate the need for a Bastion server if you're using Boundary.
So a Bastion server still requires the Bastion has uh, ingress from the network.
Mhm.
So this is more secure than a Bastion server. So yes, you obviously yes, I could make the Pi into a Bastion server, but then I have to make the hole in my network. Um, so this has the benefit of you don't even need that. Nor that I've looked into the other ways of connecting. I just think this is a neat way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've worked for somewhere before where if I needed to go onto a specific server, I needed to log into a Bastion server first, and then from there I can then go to wherever I need to go to. Whereas
But
I think
this,
you could just use Boundary for that now.
yeah, or I mean, you can still run a Bastion server. So I have my target. So I log into Boundary, and then from here, there must be a way within the connect command to not show the cred stuff. But yeah, from here I could SSH into another box.
Yeah.
So if I didn't want to add every target into Boundary, I can just add the one, and then I'm inside the network, and then I can jump around as much as I want, or as much as I'm allowed. Don't Great Wall it. Don't do what banks do, or what large companies do, which is like, what's inside the network is safe. What's inside the network isn't safe.
Keyword banks.
Yeah, I mean, that's what every company does. Every 90% of companies that have on-prem, well, 9% maybe a bit high. Lots of the companies that have on-prem see on-prem as safe, and anything that can get on-prem can do what it wants. Bad idea.
Okay,
But yeah,
that's good then. So we've spoken about the pricing as well. But then also not everyone's familiar with HCP. So because technically we could have done this without HCP. So
so to do this with HCP, you would have to do something like AWS or GCP or Azure, where you'll then have to host a boundary server, which costs a lot more than $1 a day. Even I suppose maybe you could get micro in AWS, get the like free tier box,
Yeah.
and run a server on. But then the fact this needs the server, an ingress worker, and an egress worker, you may need to have a server and an agent in the cloud anyway, which while can be on the same box, I don't know how big the boxes have to be worth it.
Okay, that's cool. Anyways, this is for boundary today. We are good then.
Yeah.
I think you covered everything. So that's good.
Um,
I feel like then obviously all of this was just done for us to be able to demonstrate how to do it normally, but in a in a working environment, you would definitely want to do all of this with Terraform. So
I suppose it is worth going. This is how I ended up doing it. So I've got my Ansible code that I ended up uh, using as a cheat sheet, which loads in the service and the config file. And then I have the Terraform code, which sets up the targets and the creds and the. Do you like my nice username password?
change.
And the targets and that stuff. I have all the code. Yes, obviously, use something like Ansible, use something like Terraform.
And then
Um,
see you didn't even use variables.
I'm getting there. This was quick and dirty.
Yeah.
But that would have been a 5-minute demo. So I think this is a little bit more fun.
No, but then we'll talk about everything that's Terraform logs out. You know, we'll talk about the first log, the second part of the logs, and everything. You know.
And we should at some point go through a full Terraform one and talk about it and go through the Ansible and actually, because if no one's seen Ansible before, um, this one, hopefully they can like read this because Ansible's I think pretty self-explanatory what it's doing. But it'd be nice to sit down and actually like work on an Ansible use case at some point.
Yeah. I mean, technically, most of the stuff we do, we can use Ansible since we're getting used to using Ansible now. So, I mean, in the future, we definitely will be showing more Ansible stuff because before we used to use user data. Now we are encouraging ourselves to use Ansible more for
But I'm
our
not.
project.
I'm trying not to do AWS for no reason. Like I can use AWS, but I think for this, I like the fact I've got a Pi. I like the fact. I mean, I've got a virtual machine on my computer. Like I can just spin up stuff on my PC.
Yeah.
So we don't really need AWS unless we want to start messing with lambdas and DynamoDB and all that sort of stuff. Which I suppose KMS is maybe the only time we're really going to touch AWS if we talk about unless we go into AWS provider, which we may do.
Yeah, well, actually, we don't even need that because I could just spin up a transit vault, and
Yeah,
then you can use that to unseal.
things to do. We can unseal one vault in your house with my vault in my house, all
Yeah,
through Boundary.
yeah, I guess
So
future proof.
that we're maybe tangenting a little bit, but if we had a Boundary server set up in each of our houses, I think you can use workers to peer across the internet, but through the workers. So we don't. So you could talk. So our pies could talk to each other without really without ever sending data outside of our networks. In the same way that I went from HashiCloud to my network, I go from my network to the internet to your network just through Boundary
Mm.
by just chaining workers together.
Yeah. So at this point, though, like we only use one of the workers, right? And what?
We were using 2 workers in this demo. So there's one provided by HCP, and there's
Mm,
one that's inside of my network. You
yeah.
go from server to the one that's public to the one in my network.
Yeah, sorry. I meant because you said when you actually went to HCP and created the boundary service, right? It gave you two workers. That's what you said.
Yeah, I think that's just for DR.
Okay.
Sorry, HR, high availability.
That's what I wanted to know because it's is it a case where like it uses both of them or we
Oh,
just
yeah,
don't
it
do
used one.
okay. That's all
Yeah,
right.
we used one of theirs and then the Pi, which I should show you. Um, the Pi is here. It's Wi-Fi as well. I should really learn how to set Wi-Fi up on a Raspberry Pi at some point. Um,
It's quite simple actually. I found a good
it's just
good
editing file, isn't it?
or as you're burning the data onto the SD,
Oh, okay, yeah.
you also specify Wi-Fi details. I said burning. I mean, yeah.
That's what it's called, isn't it? Burn the SD card.
Burning was for CDs, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
If you wanted to burn a CD, but SD cards, it's more like you're flashing it onto a thing. Flash.
Careful, gotta be careful with flashing.
But yeah, I
Anyway,
think this concludes the session for today. Actually,
yeah, I think so.
yeah. So I don't have anything else to add.
Make sure you comment, like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever you do on the platform you're watching this. Uh, if you're interested in the previous videos, they're all up on our YouTube, uh, which has an account. I should really put it somewhere. I think it's youtube.com/the dev. Oh, I think it's just youtube.com/devcastops.
Or
Maybe I should put that somewhere.
follow the link to all the videos here or here.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
Ah,
It
man,
would be over your top. It would
I've
be
already pointed, so that means
that
this
that would be
person
the correct point. Yeah, really. I should just put the box like over your face.
oh,
Can we do
just
boxes?
oh,
Anyway, yeah, I should do all that stuff. Maybe someday.
one day.
If only you could terraform it.
Follow, like, subscribe, and yeah, tune in to next time.
See you later. Bye.